has happened to this town? Windows broken, it's looking down. When I walk through the streets, I think, where did it all go wrong? Graffiti boards look back at me. I remember how we used to be, full of joy, full of pride, all for this town. Let's make this town proud again. I love this town, this Barrow town. I remember the grain and grape, how we had good times. Stayed out not too late, 'cause it was past the closing time. Let's make this town proud again. I love this town, this Barrow town. Right by the sea, by the lakes, shipyard workers every day pass you by. Let's make this town proud again. I love this town, this Barrow town. Let's make this town great again. I love this town, this Barrow town. What has happened to this town? Wind is broken, it's looking down. When I walk through the streets, I think, where did it all go wrong?
Welcome to the Bags of Love podcast, April 2023. I'm Jonny Swift, and as usual, we've got a massive, fantastic selection of local tracks from the local area and further afield this month, actually, which I'll explain a little bit about in a bit. And we've also got an interview this month with Marcus Wells. So the first track you will have heard is a song called Barrow Town by Paul Nickson. A bit about that track from Paul in his own words. Barrow Town is about saying what a lovely place Barrow is. The town centre and the nightlife isn't how it used to be, but times have changed. We still live in a beautiful place with some great people. It's as everything around us. Started writing songs as a child. I was in a duo in 2003 called Madman Blues, and we were Band of the Week on the Bay Radio and played gigs in Barrow and Dalton. Paul wrote recorded an album at home called Melbourne Straight in 2006. I packed in for a while, started again on my own in 2012. I played open mic nights, done a few gigs and music festivals. Biggest one was Livewire in Lancaster. I'm currently writing and recording new material at home and doing a local open mic night. I'm free for local gigs. So that was Barrow Town by Paul Nickson. I met Paul on the open mic scene, and this is where I heard this track actually. When I heard it, I really liked it. I said, get that track recorded and we'll put it on the Bags of Love album, which leads us on to this month's special. So we've got 11 tracks and all of them are on our next Bags of Love album. So by the time you hear this, the album will be out probably. The album is out on Friday the 7th of April, released on Bandcamp for £5, and all of the money will be going to Barrow Foodbank. We've raised over £6,000 since the original one in lockdown. And we've released a lot of fantastic local music. So check that out when it comes out. And all the tracks from this month's podcast are on the album. The next 3 songs you're going to hear is Jonny Swift, Hollywood, so one of my own, promoting myself. And after these tracks, I'll explain a little bit about each one. We've got Grant Curnow, Man in Red, and The Antidote, Walking in Your Shoes. Hope you enjoy.
Policy of austerity has been elderly. Been walking red lines since the mid-to-late 80s. Since June kinda died, I had to pay the nasty bedroom tax. I got so many bills to pay, I'm no longer the man in the black. All my tax credits have been slashed, but the government never get it. The people need more Johnny Cash. Yeah, I hear you. When I was the man in black, I never heard of a food bank. I used to eat barbecue chicken at the June kind of family ranch. Now I can afford free hot wings from KFC. I shot a man in Tesco just to steal a tin of peas. Should I stay or should I go? But I'm not the Clash. My name is Johnny Cash, and I don't play by any rules. As a wanted man, I had a plan with my friend Mick Cardinal's house. Being in simply red must mean he shares my socialist beliefs. I said I'd wear the red to inspire those folks that hope still exist. Mick taking off my property, a dirty communist. Wasn't born with a silver spoon. I was born as a boy called Stu. Man in black may be dead, but he's coming back. The people need the man in the red.
So those 3 tracks that you heard were Jonny Swift, Hollywood, Jonny Swift being me. That's the first track you'll hear on the Bags of Love album. That was from my latest album, Calimera, and I released that as a single a couple of months ago, a video as well, done by Jamie Bazanko. So yeah, obviously I love that track, one of my own. It's been around for quite a few years, but I recorded that with Matt Cassell, and seems to be a favourite of people's, to be honest, so that's why I selected that track. Hope you enjoyed it. And Grant Curnow, Man in Red. So Grant is a new signing to local Sea House Records label. Grant is actually based in Manchester, so he's probably one of our first tracks we've had, which from a person who's not from the local area, which is cool. So Grant is based in Manchester, and he's got an EP out called Salvador Dalek, an EP that's out. Well, by the time you hear this, it'll be out. It was released on 31st of March through Sea House Records label. So information about the song. The song is an anti-austerity anthem told from the perspective of a legendary singer, Johnny Cash. If he was alive today, he would be affected by the cost of living crisis and would have so many bills to pay. He's no longer the man in black, but the man in red. So that was Grant Curnow, Man in Red. So a bit about Grant himself. Like I said, he's based in Manchester. He describes himself as an alternative comedian, tragic novelty folk singer, and amateur Time Lord. So Grant does a lot of comedy festivals. He's played Edinburgh Fringe Festival. I actually went up one of the years to see him, which was fantastic. He's really funny. He's currently touring his Salvador Dalek throughout the UK. He's played various comedy festivals, including Leicester Comedy Festival, Faversham Fringe, Morecambe Fringe, Buxton Fringe, Greater Manchester Fringe. So that's Grant Curnow, Man in Red. Check him out on Spotify and usual places, and listen to his fantastic EP. The third song you will have heard is The Antidote, Walking in Your Shoes. So I've been listening to this quite a lot. A guy called William Oliver got in touch with me, who I've never met before, explaining he had a track for the Bags of Love album. He sent me a couple of tracks, and I really, really liked this one. It's just dead catchy, really catchy chorus, love the kind of picky indie guitar vibes. So I asked him for a bit of information about The Antidote. The song's called Walking in Your Shoes, and The Antidote unfortunately split up in 2018 due to all of them going off and doing their own thing. But the band members were Izzy Phillipson, Jake Willan, Scott Brown on bass, Lewis Lockhart on drums, and William Oliver on guitar. They played a lot of local gigs in Barrow, Ulverston, Dalton, and covered a lot of indie rock before deciding to write their own stuff. So the track itself was wrote about their time at Kendall Calling when Jake's shoes were stolen. So the phrase, he's walking in your shoes, stuck, and they went from there. So that was The Antidote, and it's a shame they split up because I really love that track. So what you're going to hear next is our interview with a young person called Marcus Wells, who's going through a bit of a personal journey at the moment. I've helped Marcus on some fundraising for his treatment and his ongoing gender reassignment. So you'll hear the interview, and then straight after that you'll hear 3 more tracks, which I will talk about in the last segment. So this month, we, along with previous months, we're going to be doing an interview. So we've got the fantastic Marcus Wells in this month. Hello, Marcus.
Hey.
And he's got his mum, but she's not saying much today. It's just
No.
Marcus. All right. So thanks for coming in. We met through your dad, who works here, and he wrote to be involved in a bit of a fundraising project to help you, which it's been really fun to help out with, and that's how we've met. So first of all, thanks for coming on, just having a quick chat, an informal chat, and people can get to know a bit about you and what you're doing. So I'll just start off with, can you introduce yourself, tell me a bit about yourself and what you've been up to?
Yeah, right. Well, name's Marcus, for one. So I'm a trans man. I've been sort of this way for quite a while. It took me a while to realise. It wasn't till I was just turned 14 when I clocked on, but it'd always been there. I know my parents would tell you, I never used to like wearing dresses. I used to hate pink, even though people used to say, "Oh, pink's your favourite colour, Marcus," but it wasn't. Yeah, it was funny when people would say that, and it's like, no, it's blue. It's always been blue.
Yeah.
So since then, I've been trying to get onto hormones through the NHS, which is a long process. I came out to my family, obviously. I've been trying to get onto hormones since 2018. After a year's delay because of mix-up with doctors and stuff. Finally got onto a waiting list in 2019, and I've been waiting ever since. I got moved from the child clinic to the adult clinic, and I've been waiting, 4 years since actually. So it's just gotten too much. It's harder than some people might realise to be this way, and also being a huge sufferer from anxiety and depression, body dysmorphia, all that on top with the dysphoria. It's quite hard to do everything. Getting out of bed every day is a huge task. Even just staying awake sometimes is a huge task. So for a while I've been considering funding it privately, but it's quite expensive. So but lovely Jonny, as well as a couple other people, have offered to help out, and it's been going great so far.
Oh, spot on. It's really inspiring. I mean, your dad came into the office one day and told me a bit about yourself and the family and the background, and not just me, of course. There was Scott Wilson as well, who's a colleague of mine, and Sandra. We all just got together and said, I come from like a music background, obviously. For people who know me, Sandra and Scott did like the raffle and things like that. I got in touch with Paul Kell, who runs the local Farmers Arms. I know him quite well, and he's like massively supportive of like issues like this and other kind of community issues, and he was fully behind it. So it went from there. We organised a fundraising event. There was myself, there was Ashton Dobson, and there was Chris Owen as well, good friends of mine, and I believe we raised £543 on the night.
We did indeed.
Which was really good. It was a good night was had by all, I must admit. I didn't leave there till after midnight. We played lots of decent music, and it was just about raising awareness. You got up yourself and said a few words, which was fantastic. Thanks for doing that. Spoke to people about what it was all about, and it was just I thought it was just a really good night. And like I said, it raised money for your overall funds. I mean, how do you think the event went itself?
Really well. I know I could be quite pessimistic about stuff. I'm like, we were doing it, but I didn't have much hope for it going well.
Good turnout, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was packed. You could barely move around. It went really well. The people playing, you and obviously Ash and Chris, they did really well. It's some good music. I know, like I said, the pub was filled to the brim, and it went better than I could have imagined it would go.
There's a lot of friends of your dad's there, weren't there? Like people like myself, people who work from the college, adults and young people. Quite a few of my students came along, so it was like a mixed bag, and it was just really good. So we're going to do another one, do you reckon?
I'd like to. It would be quite fun.
I'll speak with Darren, and we can maybe rope Matt Cassell in. He's in the room right now. We'll get a few new people faces involved. I think that's a plan. I think the plan for the summer, we'll organise another one. So in terms of like, explain to me how the money's going to help you. How's it all going to contribute?
Well, the journey of getting onto hormones legally, it's usually several appointments with a gender clinic. A gender specialist will talk to you, assess you, diagnose you with gender dysphoria. From there you go on to endocrinologists who will tell you what dosage you need to be on. From there they can prescribe you through private clinics or through your GP, depending on if they'll work with you. So every session of that, I know the session with the gender specialist is £450, endocrinologist is £250. Then you've got gender recognition forms, reports, blood tests, prescriptions. So it's all adds up, and you've got to have
Yeah.
follow-up appointments every 6 to 9 months, which are another 150. So it's all
There's a lot going on.
yeah. There's a lot of money goes into it.
Oh, well, like I say, we're happy to help, and
Yeah.
I'm glad to have been involved in it. Like I said, it's been really inspiring. What sort of the reaction been, like, positive and negatively from friends and the wider community?
I know my family have always been supportive. My dad was the one that wanted to sort of set this up, and obviously you and Sandra and Scott offered. I know my friends have always been hugely supportive. My best friend was really proud of me because it's a huge thing for me to do.
Yeah, massively.
I know there's support coming from everyone that joined on the night of the gig that barely knew most of them.
Yeah.
I know there's been people donating that, again, I don't know, that have just seen like the article in the newspaper and stuff like that.
You've got a GoFundMe page, haven't you?
Yeah. Obviously there's been a bit of nastiness, but I expected that. It's just the world we live in, unfortunately. But as my family always say, the people that matter are my family and my friends and people that care about me.
Well, hopefully things improve, and one of the good things about doing this is raising awareness, people's opinions of all this, and making people aware, and hopefully their views on all this can, even if you change one person's mind, that's
definitely.
That's a big thing, in my opinion. What are your plans for the future then? What do you hope for?
In terms of like
just anything
journey?
really.
Right. Well,
personally,
just living a life that I enjoy, I guess.
Being happy.
Yeah, which is hard at the moment with everything. But this is the main thing that's hindering me from being able to get to a point where I can be happy. So it's small
steps, isn't it?
Small steps, yeah.
We're getting there.
Yeah, definitely.
Spot on. Excellent. So to finish off a bit, because this is a music podcast, linking in with the local community. I know you're a big fan of music.
Yes.
What are your influences then? What do you enjoy listening to?
A lot of Indian alt rock. I get the indie side from my dad. Stuff like Florence and the Machine, Marina and the Diamonds. I know like groups like The Neighbourhood, Arctic Monkeys, artists like Conan Gray, Willow, Mitski, stuff like that.
Yeah, me and your dad talk about music quite a lot in the office, me and Darren, so it probably rubs off on you, the musical influence. He's quite into like his dance and rave and quite a lot.
He likes a lot of like Swedish EDM and stuff like that, and it's a little bit odd. I don't know where he gets it from.
Very niche.
Yeah.
And you play an instrument yourself?
Main is guitar. I've been playing since I was 11. I used to play in my school's like band we did for the GCSE. I played drums for that. Just got a keyboard, started to learn that a bit. Bass here and there. So quite a few instruments.
Awesome. Any plans to be in a band then? Form your own band?
I want to. I would like to, but
might see you on the PaZz of Love album then.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully. That's the aim. All right. Well, brilliant. Thanks again for coming in.
No problem.
If people want to donate, or you've got a GoFundMe page.
Yes.
You can just Google GoFundMe, Marcus Wells.
Yeah.
You've been in the paper quite a lot lately, haven't you? So you're famous now.
Sure, yeah.
Had a few articles with the local Mail. They contacted you, did they?
Yeah.
Yeah? And how was that?
Terrifying. Just a bit, because I'll obviously with my anxiety, having people in my entire town know who I am just from an article, it's scary a bit, but I'm not so worried about it that much.
Brilliant. Well, thanks again for coming in. Thanks, Sam. It's been great to talk to you. Wishing you all the best in your journey. And like I said, it's great to be able to help you out. And hopefully we can organise another gig at some point in the future. Yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you very much. That was Marcus Wells.
I said
talking to your friends, and the drink is warm, and we see no end. I'll exhale all my apprehensions and breathe in you. I'm quietly praying for your salvation and mine too. When the songs don't drown out this drunken haze, and the lights are on, but we're wasting days. I sat and listened to the karaoke and moaned about you. I'm drinking in my inhibitions just to see this through.
hello again. So thanks again to Marcus Wells for that lovely interview. Great to get to know you, and we're wishing you all the best. Hope you enjoyed that interview. The tracks you heard after that, there was 3 tracks. We've got PaZz and Karaoke. I'm a huge fan of this song. It's just super catchy. Love it. I've been listening to it quite a lot. They've got a new EP out called When the Internet Breaks, and that's out on the local Sea House label, so really recommend you check that out. So a bit about PaZz. I asked them a bit about the track. Karaoke is written about the night out you never wanted to go on. It's about observing the night and surviving it. You can picture the pub when you hear the lyrics. We've all been in one and had that feeling. PaZz are a 2-piece studio-based collective who work with their long-suffering producer to make chilled-out electronica. Their second album, When the Internet Breaks, is out Friday, March 17th on Sea House Records. Hopefully this will be accompanied by a couple of singles and music videos, but who knows with PaZz. So yeah, I just love that song, Karaoke. Just listen to the lyrics. It's got a really chilled out vibe, dead poppy, bit Gorillaz-y, if probably at times. And we've all been there, haven't we, on a night out, listen to how someone try to sing on karaoke. I've probably been that person myself, trying to sing. So that's PaZz with Karaoke. Next track you heard was Crooked Needle, Neon Rain, another person who's new to me, who got in touch with me via social media. So a bit about Crooked Needle, aka Paul Coombe from Barrow Furnace. The track is called Neon Rain from his solo EP Mesmeric. He made this track during lockdown when we were furloughed for 4 months. His wife bought him an Akai MPCX so he could focus on his music rather than what was going on in the world. It was a rainy day which put me in the mood to make this track. Crooked Needle got into music production and sampling a few years ago after the love of hip-hop and rave music, especially through the 90s when he first bought his set of Memorex turntables from Tandy in town at the age of 15. Got into sampling and making beats about 15 years later. So that was Crooked Needle and Neon Rain. Yeah, dead interesting track, that one. Instrumental music. Something really different. Again, I'm just big into any different kinds of genres and things like that. I said to Crooked Needle himself, actually sent him a message saying it reminds me of Sega Mega Drive music. I'm old school, so I've still got Sega Mega Drive, and remember what the old soundtracks were like, and it just reminds me of that. If you go and play Streets of Rage, it's got that lo-fi hip hop vibe, which I just think it's really cool. So check out Crooked Needle's stuff out there. And the last song you heard from that 3 was Big Dwarf, Bobby, the boy with the reversible head. We've championed Big Dwarf quite a lot on this show, and that's from their album. So check them out. It's a great track with a fantastic title, I must admit. So that's it. We've got 3 more tracks to finish. Well, actually 4 more. We've added one at the last minute, which I'll introduce before we leave. But thanks again to all the acts who have released the music on Bags of Love podcast and the album. Thank you to the 2 students, Jamie and Tom, for putting this together. Thank you all for listening. Thanks to all the acts. Thanks again to Marcus and his mum for coming in and doing an interview. So the last 4 tracks that you will hear, sorry about all the rustling with my paper. We've got Alba Burke, Almost Time. So Alba Burke is Andrew Burke, who writes the music and plays guitars, and Alistair McFarland, who writes the lyrics and melodies and plays drums and keyboards and does the singing. Andrew records his parts at home and then walks 8 doors down to Alistair, who finishes them both off. They were both born in the UK and played in various bands growing up. Alistair had some success in the early 80s, opening for bands such as Hanai Rocks. Both emigrated to Canada in their early 20s, so the connection with the local area. Alistair has a brother called Stuart who plays in bands here, so it's another person I've met through social media. And they've got loads of stuff out there, so you want to check that out. It's got really good pop vibes. I was saying to them, it's a really cool track and really well produced, really catchy. It's got that 80s, 90s American indie pop vibe. So hope you enjoy that. After that, you will hear Barrow. not the town, the band called Barrow, with Love Is Strong. So Barrow are two Barrovian musicians who've been involved in the local music scene since the 1980s. They are Andy Smith and Phil Pearson. They've been writing together for 2 years and released approximately a dozen original songs and videos. Phil is now based in Manchester and Andy is in Barrow. They both write and produce the songs, play all the instrument themselves, and Andy is always taking the vocals. We've also offered worked with various Barrow musicians on different songs over the past 2 years. Leslie Harris has contributed vocals and Julie Rogerson has guested on saxophone. So the song is called Love Is Strong. It's a celebration of love, in particular family love, and especially the love a mother can bring. It's a heartfelt tribute to mothers above everything else and how they are always with you even when they may not be. So it's quite apt because yesterday it was Mother's Day. So that was Barrow, Love Is Strong. Thank you to those guys. And the last two tracks, we've got the Ramsden Squares, Like, Comment and Share. Ramsden Squares is the brainchild of local DJ Steve Ralph. I've been listening to this a few times today, actually. It's absolutely fantastic. The lyrics are really great. In Ramsden Square's own words, Like, Comment, Share is an observation of the different roles social media can play in people's lives, from its inclusivity, the self-obsessed tendencies of some, to the disparities between the lives some people portray living and their actual reality. The Ramsden Squares is a pseudonym of the C86 inspired leanings. So yeah, it's a song about social media. It's really fun, really catchy. Love the jingly jangly guitars going on, right up my street. Very last song you'll hear is Emker added in at the last minute. He demanded it. He put his foot down and said, "This has to be on this podcast." You know, he went all what's it called, devel me. But yeah, on serious note, I'm really a fan of this song. This is his new release called Death of Dreams, as usual out on the Sea House label, and I'm just a big fan of this song. It's really sort of a bit of a change in style really from Matt. Really got sort of 90s Portishead and early 2000s Radiohead, really. Kid A, with the bass, would you say that vibe? He's nodding his head. Not sure there. You can make your own mind up because it'll be the last song on this podcast. It'll be on the album. I believe he might be having a video out for it, hopefully. He's nodding his head, yeah. So check out that. Emker, Death of Dreams. Big fan of that. Big fan of all the songs that we've played today. I really hope you've enjoyed all the music. There's a lot of fantastic local music out there, so we hope to celebrate that here on Bags of Love. Buy the album, £5. All the money goes to Barrow Foodbank, who are doing great work in the community, supporting those who are in need. Thanks again to Jamie and Tom for putting this together, and the students at Furness College. I've been Jonny Swift. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening.
You're bathing in a rainbow's light. love is strong. I still see you telling passers-by they get really high on the high horses. Yeah, but love is strong. You see, love is strong. You see, love is strong. Sometimes I can feel you standing close to me, oh so close to me, with that smile. Say, don't worry, love is strong. Oh, the taste of you comes from everywhere, all around me, saying don't worry son. You see, love is strong. I can feel you, you see, love is strong, standing close to me, with your smile. You see, love is strong. Oh, I taste your move, love your attitude. Taste your mood, love your attitude. I taste your mood, love your attitude. I taste the mood. Why? Oh, why? You see, love is strong. Can I feel you standing close to me? Oh, why? You see, love is strong. Oh, why? Why? You see, love is strong. Can I feel you standing close to me? You see, love is strong. Oh, why?
In the universe of cyberspace, I am virtually included and safe, and I never tire of my own face as it's smiling back at me from the endless stream of post selfies. Stomach in and chest stuck out, hand on hip and the posh spice pout. And I've never been so happy. I can be whoever I want to be, make my life look great and fancy free, and make everybody notice me. Even though I might not look my best, people comment and still say they're impressed. And it doesn't mean I'm self-obsessed, that I'm stood in front of the mirror, smiling at the fact I'm looking thinner. Though it's nice of you to mention it too, it means a lot coming from someone like you. And I've never been so happy. I can be whoever I want to be, make my life look great and fancy free, and make everybody notice me. ourselves are all secure. No, I don't leave the house anymore. The world outside just gets me scared. I've seen the things that go on out there. So with a click I can delete or send. Tell the world about a life event with my 3,070 friends and my 560 siblings. Okay, we're not related, but well, who's quibbling? Everybody really cares, 'cause we all like and we all comment and share. And I've never been so happy. I can be whoever I want to be. Make my life look great and fancy free.